specific criteria that they must prove in order to be any raises?
I was asked to do a salary study this year, which was provided and presented in the last board meeting. I was asked to give a recommendation, which I don't normally like to do because I like to have the board and the council work off of the data. I did provide a recommendation and it was voted opposite of my recommendation. I do not have the power to say, no, you cannot do that. I can give data, I provide data, and when asked a recommendation. But that's basically what I am allowed to do in accordance to this ordinance and what powers that the board has.
So to answer your question, Larry, correct me if I'm wrong, the answer would be no.
So there.
That would be the one word.
I mean, doesn't the policy manual govern even, not direct reports to HR and city administrator? I mean, it seems like policy manual reigns supreme over any person, right? I mean,
but raises and salaries set by budget in the governing body.
Well,
we do that.
Well, we don't control the electric board's budget.
No. But I mean, from the standpoint of policy, we don't have a policy, an HR policy that says raises are, X per year or anything like that. I mean, as far as, but.
We do. I mean, we have guidelines that say you can only give raises under these circumstances, and for merit, for, pay, I can't remember some of those terms, change of reclassification. I mean, so I guess what I'm hearing is they may or may not be following our pay rules.
I'm thinking all the questions that you're asking me because market pay is different and handled different than reclassification or regrade. So yes and no. So they're all handled differently, but again, just as our administrator sets the salary for city staff, the director sets the salary for the Gardner Energy staff.
Did you read the review that Mary provided to all of us?
I'm sure I did at the time, but I don't remember if, I mean, this is a question that goes beyond what you recommended, and that is, are they complying with the rules?
Well,
and if so, who's watching to make sure that they do that?
Well, and I think that the
No
bigger
one's
question is what are the, because I think, Larry, what you're getting at is, not to put words in your mouth, but they kind of have their own rules, which is different than what the normal city employees have. So that's really the issue I think you're getting at is, it's not that they're not following rules, because they probably are, but there are rules that they created outside of this body.
That's a problem.
Through this ordinance, so
Right, I'm not saying they did anything wrong, I'm just saying that that's the way it's established.
If they're employees of the city, they have to follow the policy manual, it's my understanding, right? So I guess who's monitoring that to make sure that they do follow those rules?
That would be the director's responsibility to follow. Just as the city administrator has the responsibility to follow those procedures, that top person at that entity has that responsibility.
Don't you have to sign any raises?
Well, yes, of course, but there are things that occur in personnel that I'm not involved in, so I can't tell you that I'm the monitor of that because I'm not.
You were going to say something, or did you? Christy asked a question for me, which was fine, and then you were going to say something, I think. I think the question was, are they following the rules?
I think it's believed. Well, the question becomes, what rules? The ordinance says they're supposed to follow, they're not to be in conflict with the ordinance and administrative policies of the city. When a recommendation comes from the city, because there's no reporting, there is no way to mandate that they're not in conflict. There's no one to be able to say, so you can't have something that's in conflict. So HR can make a recommendation and say that something's in conflict with the city's administrative policies and ordinances, but there is no way to enforce that.
I mean, isn't the signature of Mary know, on the raise, isn't that, I mean, she can withhold that if it's in violation of the policy.
Right. Well, no.
Why not?
No, because the board takes an independent action, and at that point,
Right, but they're subservient to the policies. I mean, there's an ordinance on the book that
Okay.
says the policies, you know, dictate what's allowable, what isn't. So, it's not like a bad situation if we have an ordinance that says the policy manual is, you know, is the law, and we have a cop to make sure that the law is being followed, and somehow our, you know, the ordinance that established this board doesn't allow her to do her job. It's kind of what I'm hearing.
Have we done an audit to see, I mean, to audit things like that?
Roads and Trahan looked at, I know that part of their audit was last year, right? Or it was not last year.
well,
But they look at financials.
they don't have the
Like I said, they look at
No.
Right.
financials, but not,
they,
not what you're talking about. Right. No.
but HR, city staff has looked at the salary as it relates to the city staff.
And
That's what it's at.
then there's disparity,
Oh, yeah.
significant.
Oh, yeah.
Seems to be a problem. And then regarding the financials on that section, I guess for paragraph I, it says the board, in addition to the reports that the county may otherwise be required by law to make, shall furnish to the city council an annual financial report prepared according to generally accepted accounting principles. The funds and accounts of the board shall be audited annually by the auditor chosen by the council, which I assume is the same one that we use for our own operations. And shall be open to the public inspection. Do we have a separate audit of the electric utility? So they have not been compliant with this part of the resolution,
I think that's audited,
Yeah.
just not separately.
but we haven't received it.
Yeah.
Well, you did receive it.
It's part of the
Part of
overall.
the- They are not a separate entity.
No.
They are just another division of the city, and they are audited in the same manner that the rest of the city is. And it's included in your city financials, and when council approves the budget, their budget was included. They presented it to you, and we split it right in ours. And so they're adhering. Now, as far as the reporting, they reported to you.
We got like a one-page,
And
Documents
that,
and it.
that's just coming from the city's monthly reports. The financials are structured with the assistance of the auditors, so they're not doing their own, but
we should receive a copy of those financials. I mean, we got one page that says, here's what we think we're gonna spend, here's what we think we're gonna generate in revenue, and this is the reserve that we think we're going to net.
they made a presentation to you at budget time.
Right. And I think we need maybe more information about, you know,
About what?
well, I mean, when I went to the KMEA, seminar, or, you know, thing that you and I went to.
Fiscal.
Yeah, they had,
fiscal,
right,
responsibility.
they had a number of measurements and, you know, things that showed where a utility should be, and I don't think I've ever seen that. Actually, I mean, especially since one of the board members is in the KMEA, I would think it'd be pretty easy to produce that document. Right? I mean, that's kind of the reason we went to that,
Fiscal fitness, that's what.
yes, fiscal fitness, that's right.
Can I, well, I guess maybe I want to have a larger conversation, I'm not sure if we're going to have it here, but, I mean, we beat around this whole electric utility board, and we've had recommendations for our public utility board, and then we've had some conversations about should we even have a separate board. So, I guess from my perspective, I think the conversations need to be, I mean, we have, in my opinion, three options. We repeal this ordinance, and we bring electric back in under the city. We leave it as it is, and we keep water and wastewater separate, or we go with what was recommended in March and move water and wastewater under the electric utility board. And